Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Chronicles. This is Doug Sashery, and as always, I am joined by
Rob Mendiola.
Rob.
What's up, Doug?
We're actually recording on a Monday again today.
Yep, as usual.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. And nice day outside today.
Back in the studio.
Back in the studio.
Last Thursday, we went on a field trip.
That's right, we did.
Packed up and went to BFE.
Yeah, it was a road show last week.
Yeah.
And
it's cool to do that every once in a while.
No, I do like doing that.
Yeah.
And
we've gotten pretty efficient at it too, like setting up, getting everything going.
we got we had a good interview with Frankie
Aluto,
and they're doing a great benefit for him. A lot of people are coming together for this guy. He is the godfather of the Houston music scene, and the thing about it is well, one of the guys who donated something to me, he's sitting with us right now. His name is Christian Burkey, but everybody just calls him Berkeley. There's no L.
and we're also joined by
Dwayne, and his last name is a mystery to all of us.
How do you do it, Dwayne?
Bye, Harry.
Bye, Harry.
Oh, so that actually
Bye,
is
Harry.
okay. That's what came up last. So
That's a different name. I've never heard that one.
I know.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's not fun to grow up with that last name, I tell you.
When you were a kid growing up and you left, did people say, "Bye, Harry"?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bet he's heard them all.
But that was a missed opportunity for me.
Yeah,
And
you have
damn
to
it, that would have been fun, man.
Learn to punch people in the face.
Had I known that, I would have asked him, "Can we move up north?"
Yeah.
But
So today's my favorite. We got musicians in the house, so that's cool.
we do.
Which I know a little bit more about than food.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to. I guess we have to go on the journey. Do we even have a name yet on this project that you and Dwayne are working on?
We do. It's a name that we had from back in the 90s, and it was called Missing Skin.
Okay, so that's what y'all were.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. And so a lot of folks who see the rebranding of Missing Skin now, we have it as almost where it looks like an acronym, MSKN. So we get a lot of, new people that hear the music
Is it
that
Mexican?
aren't familiar. No.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of Mexicans.
No.
It's Missing Skin just
Missing
shortened
Skin.
down.
That's cool,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, for the new.
I dig it.
Yeah, thanks.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Now, there's the two of y'all. Dwayne, what do you play, man?
I play guitar.
Cool.
And Mr. Christian over here he's the bassist. So what I want to know is, are we tracking?
So are you still playing bass?
So, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Kind of good segue here to lead in. So I was playing bass my whole entire life, and I had a wild hair. I was like, you know what, man, let me try to play guitar and see what happens here. So I made the transition actually this last year.
Cool.
And I did it under the wing of Dwayne, who's a killer
Cool.
guitar player. So we post a lot of his stuff. We're in demo phases on a lot of things right now, but
Cool.
So I switched over to guitar, and our actual bassist is Dave Banks right now, good friend of ours, who he's actually family to Dwayne. So we all kind of grew up in the same pool, if you will, in Cleveland, Ohio. And so I made the transition over to guitar. I used I tried a 6-string and then a 7-string, and then I was like, man, I want the lower tones. And you can you can obviously tune those down, right? But they felt real weird to me because I'm so used to having that
used to the
broad,
big strings.
broad, wide neck, big strings, and so I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go way off on a limb here, and I went and got a two custom Jeff Kiesel guitars made.
Wow.
Specifically for me for this project, and they're both one's an 8-string and one's a 9-string.
Wow.
So the neck feels so
That's
much
crazy.
more comfortable to me, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. Plus, I love that low down, dirty, grindy.
I heard
tone,
some of your
man.
music, and the frequencies are definitely different from what you hear.
Yeah.
What is it
Normally.
with you and not sticking to the amount of strings you have on the instrument you have? You handed me a 6-string bass the other day.
Yeah,
Four apparently wasn't enough.
So a good buddy of mine who we'll talk about in a minute, Joey Stahersky, he sent me a little meme that said, if this is going to be you, Christian, if you keep adding strings to your guitar, and it said, look at me, it's Guitario, and it looked like a Mario with his like 35 strings on this neck on there.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, man. You keep adding those strings, man.
I'd like to see you play that 8 and 9 string, just to see how you kind of maneuver yourself around that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I posted a video of me playing it on there, so it's on there. It's just
Cool.
It was a riff of an idea.
Okay.
Dwayne and I share, because we're so far apart, right? I guess we'll get into that as we talk, but we're so far apart. He's still in Cleveland, Ohio, and obviously I'm here in Houston. So we were like, how are we going to do this, man? You know, this is a big undertaking to kind of revive things. And Dwayne, feel free to jump in anytime, buddy. I don't want to.
I will. I'm just listening for now.
So Dwayne, how are y'all kind of collaborating and getting your ideas down and together, basically?
Well, I go into the studio that I put together. Well, Burkey put it together and sent me some stuff. I mean, I was recording, riffs and stuff over my phone.
Yeah.
And then sending him stuff over the phone, and it just wasn't cutting it. It wasn't working. So, he had an old computer laying around and sent it out to me and hooked me up with the software. And it takes me a little while to learn this stuff. He's flying through stuff, and, I'm just learning. But slowly but surely I started figuring it out. And we just send emails back and forth with
tracks,
MP3s.
Oh, cool.
With the tracks.
Nice.
Now, do we use a imaginary vocalist, or do we?
Yes. So we can kind of go into that. So as Dwayne mentioned, so in my studio, I have like a pretty big. Well, you were there, Doug. I mean, you saw my studio, and we use all the software there. So as Dwayne and I started this project, like re-collaborating, I was like, man, this is going to be difficult. So I didn't want to mess with other musicians like drummers and singers and all that. And we just wanted to do all instrumental just to see how it was coming along, right? Because we'll tell you the backstory here in a minute about because people listening to the show are probably like, who? Well, they would say to me, who is this guy, Christian? You know what I mean? A lot more people will know who Dwayne is once he shares his backstory. But so I was like, well, I got to do something here. So I started using a lot of the VST after I set up my studio and it started learning software. That's my job outside of music, right? Is software. So about 10 years ago, I was like, let me get into these VSTs and the DAW and everything. I didn't really care for Pro Tools. I know that's probably going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, but I liked
it's difficult to learn.
Yeah, it is. But I found Reaper, and that was like the more easier DAW for me to use, right? And I know that's like the cardinal sin for Pro Tools users are like, what? But I learned the software really good, and then I just started using other VSTs like technology, right? Like
all the virtual instruments.
Yeah, like Tune Track for drumming, right? I wouldn't venture off into any of the bass stuff or any of the guitar stuff. We play all that stuff is completely done by us.
Organic.
Like organic, and we play everything. So it started with really learning that software to be able to put together drum tracks, right?
Right.
But not put them together to where if somebody wanted to, or if we played out live again together, right? We used to play together live, Dwayne and I, a long time ago. But we wanted a drummer to be able to keep up, and not only keep up, but like something that was playable or manageable, if that makes any sense. A lot of times, this is the way music is trending, man. And it's just, there's no getting around it. This is the way it is. So these drum tracks here, we wanted them to be super tight and add that good element. But if we started playing live,
playable.
Again, a drummer could come in and say, hey, okay, this is sweet. I can do this, and not wear them out either.
Like crazy double bass the whole freaking time. Yeah. I've heard those tracks, and it's like, oh man, you got to be like 16 years old. To manage something like that.
When we were playing before, we would have that problem where we had a vision of where we wanted the drums to go and what we wanted it to do, but the drummer that we had couldn't keep up. He couldn't do it, so we had to settle for what he could do.
Yeah.
So we were like almost, kind of tied down to where we could go, because we were limited with what we had.
Yeah, if you find the right drummer with the right equipment, it makes it easier on them too. They can play faster, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Better pedals, better gear,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very specific need,
Yeah.
and job. So.
And then when it comes down to the vocal side of things right now, the vocals that you heard there, those vocal tracks are done by VST also. Those are vocal samples that we use from a technology standpoint.
Wow, cool.
Just to kind of throw it on there to see, because the original idea of this project was really to bring it back 100%, almost like Genthal type of new modern metal, right? That's the direction that I saw it going, right? Yeah. And then Dwayne and I both, we both come from the same generation and era, right, of metal. I mean, and we both used to write like that. So making this transition to like the new song you heard, Rob, Paranormal, which is trending more towards that newer metal style, I guess,
Yeah. So Dwayne, where did you get your start, and what bands were you involved in throughout all this?
Oh, well, back in the day, I used to live in San Diego, and the first band I was in was called Sanity's Void. Just a bunch of guys that, in high school jamming and stuff like that. We played a few shows, nothing major. I got caught up into some bad stuff when I lived out there, and I ended up, like 96 or something, I ended up coming back here to Cleveland. And then I ran into, like you said before, Dave Banks, our bass player. He's actually married to my cousin, and that's how I met Burkey, through him. And then my brother, Brian, he and I have been wanting to jam together for a long time, and that's how that started. And then we started Missing Skin, and I mean, it all I actually called Burkey earlier today and told him that I drove past his old apartment complex where it all started. Yeah, we went down there with a 4-track and a 7-string Ibanez guitar, and we were writing some riffs on this little 4-track. But that's where it all started.
Wow.
That's why you used to piss off all the neighbors in the apartment complex. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Dwayne and I wrote a song that was called 101, and that was the name of the actual apartment.
The unit number.
That I lived in.
Cool.
Yeah. And cool. People ended up loving that song, but it's. But Dwayne went on to do much bigger things, Dwayne. So I don't want to hijack the conversation. I'll let you finish.
Oh no, it's cool. Yeah, once. Missing Skin kind of did their thing or whatever, I ended up getting a phone call from a buddy of mine asking me if I wanted to join, go into the studio, record an album, and go on tour with Ripper from Priest.
Nice.
And I'm like, well, man, what kind of question is that?
Yeah, of course.
You don't even have to wait for my answer.
Yeah. What time y'all picking me up?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was wild, man. I just, we went down and met him. He gave us a CD with a couple of songs on it. All the songs were already written, so it was just like a hired gun.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. We were going on tour. We opened up for Anthrax. Went on tour for a couple months over in Europe. It was crazy, man. It was like living my dream.
Yeah, that's definitely a dream.
Because Anthrax, I had posters of them guys on my walls growing up. That was
we all did.
I was starstruck. Yeah,
that's
to be
awesome.
able to go jam with those guys and and hang out with them and party with them. It was something crazy.
So you got to do touring with him. Did you do any session work with him as well? The studio?
No. Did who, Anthrax?
No, with Judas Priest. With
Tim? Is it Tim?
Tim Mullins.
Tim Mullins, that's right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. To back up 1 second, Dwayne. Sorry, I'm hijacking here. The band
it's good,
was Beyond Fear that Tim did, and Dwayne was a part of that project there,
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that you should check that out. There's
Cool.
That was an amazing album. I loved every bit
So
of
you
that
toured
one.
with those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice, man.
Very cool.
Something crazy. I'm used to playing in Cleveland. I think the biggest crowd we played in front of was 200-300 people, at the Peabody's or in the Agora or something. And our first big show was in Monterrey, Mexico at the Monterrey Metal Fest. And, there's
Wow.
16, 20,000 people,
Wow.
a
little bit different.
Crap in your pants.
That's got to be such a rush, though.
It's funny because, we go over to Europe and I'm a total rock star over there. People know who I am. I get off a bus. They want my autograph. They know my name. I come back to Cleveland. I got to go to work.
Yeah.
Nobody knows me. I'm nobody here.
Rob and I were just talking about that, Dwayne, about not have music doesn't pay the bills, so you got to have a regular job.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was telling. Dave Sullivan was a friend of ours here was telling me about. He just did an album, and he did a vinyl press of it. And he's got Stephen Piercy on some of it, and
Billy Sheenan.
Yeah,
nice.
And was the bassist for.
Rudy Sarzo.
Yeah. So he ended up doing like little pieces of this and that on parts of it, on that album. And he was talking about how he was trying to get it here and there. And he said he's been go to Europe. I said, dude, go to Europe. I said, you never know what, you may have trouble here, but over there you could just totally flip the script, so.
Yeah.
They love metal there.
It's crazy over there.
Yeah.
Because, the Beyond Fear stuff was, the vocals and stuff. It's Tim's. It's like the old 80s style, with heavier guitar stuff. But, Tim's vocals, and these kids go nuts for that stuff over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just
total old school.
He was just here in town maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he'll be here in Cleveland March 20th, I think he's coming. Supposed to go with KK's Priest.
Nice. That's a good combination there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what's your backstory, Mr. Christian?
Perfect. So same as Dwayne's, right? I met Dwayne, and then we started. It was me, Dwayne, and Brian that were the founding members of Missing Skin. And then we started writing together, working together, and so on. And then it blew up pretty big, right? And then I was like, man, we just talked about this. I was talking to Rob about this a minute ago. I was like, I got to go into a different direction. The economy's like terrible in Ohio right now. It's like 2,000, I think, or something like that. And I was like, all right, well, I got family down in Texas. Let me go down there, see what's going on. So I come down here. Still playing music, going out to all the been to BFE, loved that place a million times, right? Saw all the shows, and I was like, well, let me just kind of take a break, see what's going on. So, anyways, fast forward, I'm working out in the gym. We've talked about this on the way here, 24 Hour Fitness in the Woodlands, and I had already known who Rusty Cooley was, right? Because I seen him. He used to go to the same tattoo shop that I went to. I've seen him there. I'd say what's up to him. Awesome dude, man. So I see him working out there at the gym, and I'm like, man, you know what? I'm just going to go over. I'll let him finish. Let me go over, say what's up. So I go over there, talk to him, and we just started kind of BSing, right? And I told him, I said, hey, man, I was like, I'm a bass player, love your stuff. And I was like, if you ever know anybody who's looking for a bassist or whatever. And he's like, well, actually at this time, he was.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, well, Christian, put together, here's my number, put together a bass demo, and send it over to me. So I sent it over to him, and got a call back from him like 30 minutes later. And he was like, hey man, do you want to come do some work with me? And I was super intimidated at first because if you know anything about Rusty, dude, I mean, dude,
he's a beast.
Oh, dude, it's untouchable. So I was like, all right. And then I was like pacing around, and I was like, oh shit, man. I was like,
what did I do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so he let me audition, and I came in on the front end of Day of Reckoning when he was first starting that. They went on to do great big things, right? But just I wasn't a part of it. I was there. I was with Rusty for I want to say it's like 2 years. If he hears this, he'll have to correct me. But the amount of stuff that I learned from him has catapulted me into a whole different arena, especially with my bass playing, right?
Yeah.
It's just the things he taught me, and not only the passion that he has for teaching people, but I got to have it like straight one-on-one without being around him all the time, right? So I was like, man, this is so awesome, and I didn't have to pay for any of those lessons. Man.
Free lessons.
Oh man,
even better.
Yeah, but he helped me understand the instrument better, and I was like, man, this is like way over the top. So after that happened, I did my little stint with him, and I was like, man, I want to go in a different direction here. I really want to try something new, something different, right? So I just kind of secluded myself for a while and really focused on bass playing. Had a lot of offers to audition for a lot of big names after that, because my bass playing got extremely good. And so there was a couple people who sought after me, and I was just like, man, I just want to be home right now. We talked about that, Rob, right?
There's a lot of value in that as well.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I just want to be home right now, and I want to really focus on grinding and getting better at bass. So that kind of took me back to where I was like, man, I had always missed Dwayne and all the boys back home, right? That when we played together, it was an awesome time. And I was like, man, you know what? I was like praying that the universe would line up, and I was like, man, let's try to do something, Dwayne. And we would talk about it over the years, right? And then finally, we got it together, because technology is what brought us together. So a lot of times people think, I mean, I told you my job is software. Now. It has been for like 15 years. But software has made it so much easier for musicians to be able to collaborate. Yeah. And so I still have some good buddies of mine, right, that are playing out there like, oh, that's cheating, dude. You don't have a drummer, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, get out of here, bro. Knock it off.
Technology's technology, so.
Exactly. So, finally, technology is. I'm rambling here, Rob. Sorry. Let me get back on track. So finally, technology brought us back together. So I was like, I had a bunch as I was upgrading my studio, because my studio is like pretty damn good right now, right? So I had a lot of old stuff. So I was like, maybe I'll bag up all these old turds and just give them to Dwayne and see what he can do. No, I'm just kidding. So I gave a computer and an audio interface, and then he took baby steps, and he's a way farther along than what he says he is. But it's allowed us to be able to get where we're at today, collaborating.
Able to get in some decent tracks, in a good quality. Yeah. And be able to share that with you now. Yes. And you can mix them down. Stuff like that.
Yeah, well, so speaking of that, let me throw one thing out there, because where we're at today with the mix, I get lessons, and I'm sure you probably know these guys, but Matt and Curtis Smith, who own PMI in the Woodlands. So my son Caleb is a drummer, and Matt Smith teaches my son Caleb, and oh my God, these two guys, like, unbelievable. I can't even. My mind is melting right now just thinking about the music that they write and the things that they do is unbelievable. Dwayne, you know what I'm talking about with the guys from PMI. I mean, it's unbelievable. So
I think I've heard of those guys.
Yeah. So Curtis Smith, he has been the one working with me to get the mixing down, understand the DAW better, because I was like doing all kinds of mistakes, right? And that's what I wanted anybody who's listening to the show, don't be discouraged. Keep on grinding and pushing through, because if you learn little steps,
keep learning. Really.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to get better and better and better and better.
Knowledge is power.
That's it, my man. Yeah, absolutely. So I work with Kurt now, and Kurt was actually at my house in my studio a couple months ago, and I was like, check this out, man. I was like, this sounds awesome. Listen how great this sounds. And he's like, Christian, this sounds like shit, man. He's like, you got to He's like, you got to do this and do that. And he just showed me, little by little how to make all the adjustments and stuff to mix. So what we're doing and producing now that you hear is like, it is baby step mix. However, our stuff when it's done is going to go to PMI, and then we're going to have them pay for them to like put the big mix on it now. Yeah. But we're still in demo phase, if that makes any sense. Kind of totally where we're at. So.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. I mean, I think they just like getting it out there to somebody else for different ears to hear it. Yeah, and then kind of let them work on the frequencies. Yep. Because it's something. It's good to just kind of. It's almost like playing on the different speakers. So getting different ears on it, it's always a good idea.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, because when he came over, I was working with my 9-string guitar, right? So I'm tuned to like C sharp, F sharp.
Yeah.
I think I sent you the tuning the other day that I use. So anyways, I'm like, check this out, man. And I had all the like mids down, the bass all the way up, treble up, because I'm used to like playing, you know, my Dingwalls or my Warwick basses right through. I use the dark glass stuff, you know, and it is like that punchy.
That's what my bass player uses.
Yeah, love it. I have it. Yeah, I got all the dark glass stuff, Dingwall basses, Warwick basses. You saw my wall, Rob. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of Warwicks, but they had that punchy noise. Anyways, back to Kurt. So I had all this guitar dialed into bass tones.
Yeah, you don't use.
And he's like, dude, what are you doing, man?
You don't EQ a guitar like you would a bass. I mean,
exactly.
You don't want to because it just turns to mud.
That's exactly right. But to my ears, though, right? I just had drums and the guitar going on, nothing else, right? And I'm like, this is a banger, dude. I love this. And he's like, no, bro, this is not gonna work, man. So it's
good if you don't have a bass on it. You know, maybe you could use it that way. But which I've seen that before. You've seen what is it? Animals as Leaders.
Yeah,
those guys don't use a bass. I think.
Yeah, Tosin and
one guy has a like 8-string or something, and the other one has, you know, whatever. But they use that guitar as kind of like the bass.
That's
it.
Animals as Leaders. Go ahead, Dwayne. Sorry, bud.
When Burkey left and moved to Texas, Missing Skin we were a 3-guitar band. We had 3 guitar players, the bass player, drummer, singer. We went months and months and months without a bass player at all because I couldn't find anybody worth, you know, that could replace him.
Yeah,
I was salty when he left. I was like, man, my bro's leaving, and I'm stuck with these ding dongs.
I feel you, man. It's hard to get a good guy that mixes with you well and just knows your style already. You know, knows your rhythm. You know.
Yeah, like-minded too. Like-minded, right? Outside of when you put the guitar down,
especially when 2 of you or 3 of you, 4 of you develop together, that's kind of like just priceless, man. You know.
Yeah.
It's hard to fix that once that piece is missing.
You could be like Leonard Skinner and have like 45 guitarists on stage.
No, I'm down to one. I have like I want to say like 26 was my last count of guitars and basses.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that I'm like I only am partial to like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You see the ones I'm impartial to right there. Yeah, and I'm the same way. Like if I go play a show, I like to just take my Strat, and that's it. You know.
Yep.
Strat and a Helix, and I'm done. And that's it.
Well, it's funny, like you'll see some guys plays and they like to play certain songs on certain guitars. They don't like to do the tuning. You know, it's they want that guitar right there for that song or whatever. You know, I see that quite a bit too.
Yeah. Tuning changes is a big ordeal.
It is.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that's one of the things that used to irritate Tim. You know, we
I think it irritates everyone.
Go to a different song.
Truly.
Yeah.
Trying to tune your guitar, you know, when you're in the middle of a song, or not in the middle of a song, but right before the next song.
Right. Yeah. Especially when you want to keep that flow going, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to like stop and wait, and then you got to make sure everybody's ready, you know.
Yep.
Back in that different tuning or whatever. So
that's why I've always played a 6-string bass, because I was like, my range is. I mean, I have to
you can play whatever.
Right. I would drink a beer while these clowns were over there messing around with their guitars, right?
Right.
And they had so many, and I have a new respect for it now, moving to guitar, right? But I was like, look at these dudes over here, man. There's like 8,000 switches on the ground. They got all this stuff, you know. It takes a whole truck and trailer to bring all their stuff in.
That's what I've tried. I've definitely tried to get away from that. So I can walk in with a backpack and one guitar and do a whole show, you know.
Dwayne, you should.
Yeah, I don't use a whole lot of effects. Once I get my sound, I don't like messing with it because I'm afraid to lose it.
Yeah, I've written I think about 4 or 5 patches on my Helix, and that pretty much run with that, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Did you see? Oh, I'm gonna have to show that to you in a little bit. And see, I don't even know. That's out of my realm, man. You know, but Larry Gilstrap the other day when they were rehearsing.
Yeah.
I don't know how many.
That's with 12 years.
It was 12 years driven. They'll be playing at their benefit. They're going to make a little reunion for that thing. He has got so many things.
Pedals.
Oh my God. It's just so many, man. I mean, They need like a different stage just for his pedals, man. That's how many he's got on there, man. But you should see, Dwayne, I was going to mention to you earlier that I brought Christian in to meet Rob, and my God, I mean, I could barely get a damn. This is going to be a different podcast. 'Cause I get a word in edgewise, and that's good though because these two guys.
We're not talking about crawfish.
That's right. And Christian, I just noticed, has a music on he has a music sleeve on one of his arms.
Oh yeah.
Which it goes with Rob and on Rob's arm. I swear to God, for the first time, I thought for a long time, I said, is it like Crow and the Butterfly by Shinedown? I didn't know what
that's
that was.
from Paul Reed Smith.
Yeah, that's the Paul Reed Smith inlays on my.
Yeah.
But I had
forearm.
no clue what that was. I was like,
love it.
What the hell is that? Yeah, so.
I play a custom 22.
Nice.
That's one of my go-tos guitars.
Yeah.
Dwayne, I might just leave. He rode over here with me. I might just leave him at the studio with Rob.
And Dwayne has a legendary name, like Dwayne Allman.
Yeah.
What's that?
You know who that is, right? Dwayne Allman?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's a cool name.
So what's next? I mean, you told me that y'all were just baby stepping, taking your time.
Yeah, so Dwayne and I meet once a week. We meet over a Zoom call, talk about what we've written and what we've done for the week, kind of regroup, and then of course we share a lot of files, like Dwayne said, back and forth of ideas, right? And then when it comes down to track, well, then that's when we take all these stem files and then move them we start to import them and then set up our timing and put drums to it and all that. So we are finally got lifted. We're airborne now, right? So we're like, okay, let's just kind of keep taking the altitude up a notch here and there. And so as far as we've gotten, we're in a demo stage now with the newer Missing Skin.
Yeah.
And we've gotten as far as what you saw. We did the paranormal song.
That was with the AI video.
That's
very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
very cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed by that.
Yeah, that's.
You seen it? You haven't seen that, though?
No, I haven't even seen.
That's very cool, man. You have to check it out.
Yeah, so that's kind of like where we're at, and Dwayne has 2 new ones that he's working on that are just absolutely.
So who's running the AI video stuff?
So I've been running some of that, right, using an engine.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dwayne.
I can barely turn on my computer. He's got to do all this stuff.
Yeah, so you're the techie more.
Yeah,
I'm a techie too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it makes things so much easier, right?
It does.
I mean, there's work behind it, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's doing stuff for free. I mean, by no blood, sweat, or tears are going into it. But yes, so there was a newer platform. I think it's called Fireframe.aio or .ai. I can't remember the whole name, but I was like, let me check this out. So their engine seems to run really well, but it's the thing that's kind of funky about AI is you really, the algorithms that are behind that, you have to be like extremely descriptive in what you want. Otherwise, you'll catch a glimpse of some cool stuff as it comes through.
Right.
But it took me a long time to get that all right, of just like reworking the engine to have it build that video. Because the song is actually about, if you care to know, the song is called Paranormal. It's about a relative of mine that I know who was diagnosed with schizophrenia and had a bunch of problems going on, like things like that in their home. And I mean, it was a nutty situation. So
that makes sense now. Yeah.
Yeah. That whole story.
Yeah.
I heard like it, I think in music a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like my emotions. I saw something the other day posted on Facebook that said, emotions, music is emotions out loud or something like that, right? And I was like, or your feelings, music is what your feelings sound like. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I was at, and when I wrote that, and Dwayne writes everything alongside of me, right? We do it all together, and we do a lot of picking apart of different things. So, but we're like on an upward trend, right?
Yeah.
We have a good background, know a lot of people. Not trying to name drop today, right? But we were where we're from, and then now it's just like really just getting ears on it, seeing what people think, man. And
Dwayne's not ready to move to Texas.
Oh, I'm trying to get his ass down there. I can tell you that.
Everybody's moving to Texas,
man.
I would
love to get away from the snow. Let me tell you, man.
You got everybody moving to Texas now, man. You might as well get here.
Yeah, might as well pack up the family and bring them out.
Yeah.
I wish I was closer. I mean, it's doing what we're doing is cool, But if I could sit in a room with him,
oh, there's nothing like it. Yeah,
you know,
we would be so much farther along.
So much farther along.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
there's nothing like sitting across from there. That's somebody you're riding with, and
that's what Rob and his gang of
that's what we do in here.
Did yesterday. I saw pictures from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, when I saw Christian Studio Room, I said, "Oh, Rob, you're gonna like this guy."
Yeah, I've seen some pictures. Yeah, it looks pretty impressive.
The same page on all this stuff, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I was off for a while, so I'm still trying to catch up financially.
Well, this has been I have accumulated all this stuff over the years, right?
Yeah.
But the bad part is that with tech, you know how it goes, Rob. Once you get something, it's like it's the shit. Are we allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. It's the shit, right? And then all of a sudden, you have to replace it 6 months later, right? Because it starts to have degradation and
Not me. I repair it. I think I've repaired that one. I've repaired one of those. Yeah. I repair my stuff, man. I try not to get too crazy with that, you know.
I hear you. And my wife, so I had some of the Warwick basses that I showed you, right, that I was playing. So it's funny. I had bought, I buy, all my gear comes from Jason Mendelson from Fret Nation out in California. And if people are not buying gear from, if you're a bassist and you're not buying gear from him, you're buying it from the wrong people, in my opinion. Anyhow, so he had a custom Warwick bass built that was a thumb that was actually a featured model on Warwick's site in Germany. So he had that bass, and it was a buckeye burl thumb. I mean, it was amazing. I've got some pictures of it on my Facebook page, I believe. Anyways, that bass was like $16,000.
Wow.
And I told my wife, I was like, I have to have that bass. And she was like, if you buy that bass, she was like, it's over, man. It's over. So I snuck and saved little by little by little and ended up buying that bass. And she about beat me to death when that came in the house. So the end of that.
I bet.
Yeah.
It's nice having nice gear because it does kind of translate when you're playing.
For sure.
You know?
Absolutely.
But then you're always afraid to take it out when you're playing somewhere.
That's so true.
Because people just don't respect your stuff, you know. And,
Never.
And it's very tough, hard to feel that like something's going to happen to it, you know.
For sure. It's like some of my equipment, man, is like my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's it's very important.
Yeah, that's even if it shows up. I mean, we did a show in Germany.
Oh God.
And our gear never showed up.
Oh, that's horrible.
Never showed up. We had to borrow gear from another band.
Oh, that's got to be a sinking feeling.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm a big guy, and I was playing this little teeny Flying V.
Wow.
And the strap, I mean, it was like it looked like a violin because it was up underneath my chin. So
that's funny.
But we got through the set, and it was cool. But yeah,
I refuse to play anyone's guitars and stuff because I have all mine set up the way I want them. It's like I can't even play anything else really.
I know. I agree. Plus, and I'm kind of like a neat freak.
Yeah.
So if somebody touches my guitar and there's like their hand juice on my guitar,
you can look at all mine. Mine are all wiped down.
Yeah.
I wipe them down every time I play. I wipe them down, and it's got to be clean. Yeah.
It's usually the drummer. I mean, I've met a lot of guitarists that didn't give a shit how. I mean, they do, but not as particular as the damn drummers are. But then again, I've been with one drummer, and I saw him just basically toss his stuff in the back of his thing. I was like,
oh yeah.
Well, that one's different than anybody else's I've ever seen in my life.
Not me. I have like anxiety attacks when I'm watching somebody on stage and their guitar's full of smudges everywhere.
Dude,
I'm just like, what the hell?
I know. It drives me nuts too. Yeah. Actually, that picture that I responded to you back on Facebook, there were some smudges at the top. And I was like, oh man, I should have wiped that down before I posted that.
Yeah.
Well, I was coming back from Tulsa, and I stopped at Guitar Center, and I got a few guitars. I think I told you about that. And I told you going to have some of our friends sign them, for this benefit. And I basically, because look, I had a lot of stuff with me I was traveling with already, for work-related stuff, and I basically was stacking the guitar here and here, no cases. And I was thinking to myself, if this was me and my stuff, there'd be no way in hell.
Yeah.
I mean, even a soft case would not be good enough.
Yeah.
And I just had acoustic and two electric guitars and just, here you go.
Yeah.
And here you go. Put them in there. I put them so the necks wouldn't break. I didn't want that to happen, but I didn't want to scratch them. But I was like, there's no way I would treat my stuff like this. If I was getting ready to, play, if that was my instrument, like my cello or something like that, or my guitars or my drums.
Yeah.
No, there'd be no way in hell, so.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You got to take care of them and they'll last you forever.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they will.
true. Yeah.
And you actually donated a pretty sweet bass for Frankie's benefit.
Yeah, when I saw that, I didn't know about the benefit so I stopped going to bars and stuff a long time ago. So,
yeah, I don't blame you.
I want to be at home, like I mentioned, making music there. And but yes, I donated I saw the BFE post that y'all put up, and I was like, man, BFE, I've been to so many shows there.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to help out there.
That's very cool.
With Frankie. And that was I think it was a Warwick Alien,
Yeah.
6-string Alien acoustic.
Yeah,
That
electric.
is a
very cool bass.
Sweet bass, and they had so many people, and the case is very nice, and they had a lot of people. There's somebody. The case showed you there was somebody that actually cared about that bass, and a lot of people. A lot of people eyed that and saw that stood out.
Yeah,
So, but
I can't play it because I picked it up. I was like, wow, that neck's so huge.
Oh yeah, it is.
My hands aren't that big.
Warwicks are like the heaviest basses ever. That's one thing when I used to play out with them all the time. It used to wear me out, right? Because it's like you're carrying some of them. I think my most heaviest Warwick was like almost 11 pounds.
Wow.
I want to say normally they're about 9.5, maybe 10 pounds, but they're so heavy, and they have neck dive on the front of their headstock so bad. So like you're constantly holding
it's
it
that
up,
wood
right?
though. That wood that makes it sound so good, but also weighs well. It's
you're so right. The sound is like amazing.
You can't get that sound.
Yeah, I agree. So the reason why I moved off Warwick is because once I heard a Dingwall bass, I was like, oh my god,
that's what my bass player wants to buy.
Oh yeah, man. I have the Dingwall combustion basses, the NG3 basses, and that are 6-string, and then I also had I think it was a Dingwall ABZ custom as well that I got from Jason Mendelson from Fret Nation.
So now that you've transitioned to guitar, you've had your own guitars custom made, custom ordered?
I did, yes. So
who did you do that through?
Through the Kiesel website. I just loved the whole story of Jeff Kiesel, his family.
So Kiesel's the one that always does the headless guitars?
No, Jeff Kiesel, I believe at the beginning of their journey, they've been in the luthier business for many, many years. And I want to say that they were carving guitars first, and then it went back to the company name. And hopefully if anybody hears this, I might have the story a little bit messed up. But I did the builder, they had like an online builder, right? And I had followed Jeff Kiesel, his posts all the time, right? And he was promoting a guitar player that I just fell in love with, Joshua Travis, man, from I think it was Glass Cloud, I think it was their name. He's doing his own stuff now, but anyways, I saw the guitars, so I went on there and I did the builder, and I was like, there's like a custom builder that he has. It's like a virtual builder,
cool.
And I was like, just fell in love with that. But these guitars are expensive, but they're worth every penny, man.
Wow.
When I got that thing, it took like I think they were on a 22-week build cycle.
Wow.
And when that thing came to my house, that's the one that's always in my
And they're
hands
one of
now.
a kind, right? So
Yeah,
you're not going to see it anywhere else.
Exactly.
Jeez.
Mixing and matching parts and everything.
That's cool.
And,
So those aren't going for like 158 at Guitar Center.
no. I think the last custom I did was like $3,700.
Yeah, that's a good price though. Still,
I think that's like right. That's
pretty
average.
fair.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, for a custom build, that's really fair.
Made in the USA, right out of.
I mean, yeah, because you go buy a Gibson off the wall, you're going to spend $5,000.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah.
And it's just a run of the mill Gibson,
Yeah.
So nothing really custom about it.
Yeah. Plus their neck profile and everything, it just felt right. I feel like I have a bass neck with guitar strings on there.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like is that the string spacing is so tight. So it took me a lot, like, to get my fingers to like be nimble through all the like fretting positions and hand positions, from just being, half inch on
from a bass,
every string, and
Yeah, you can't really compare that.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Congratulations on those.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have one?
I have two. I have two of their, one of their newer version Aries and one of their older version Aries that I had built. Cool. But yeah, it's I got a whole new respect for guitar players, buddy. Let me tell you. Because I got pretty cocky on bass, man. I was like, let me see that thing. Let me play. And then I went over to guitar. I was like, well, this is, it's going to be easy. All it is the same thing with a bunch of distortion and effects on there. And as soon as I started playing, I was like, oh my God, I cannot.
It's a big difference, man. Yeah. It's like I always say, I can play bass, but I'm I'm not a bass player,
Yeah.
Like bass notes are just so different,
Very. And it's in the chord progressions too.
Everything's so different.
I'm like, I have to put all four fingers in this position to get that sweet sound. On a bass, I only need like two.
When guitarists play bass, they sound like a guitarist playing bass.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that's why I like the cello. I found from guitar because it's only you get your 4 strings and you're coming and you're playing off the same string up and down about a lot, and you're not, because I used to lose my mind, like just trying to play Bon Jovi Wanted Dead Alive. It was 5-3-1-3 5-3-1. You're going up the neck, and my fingers would just start losing their damn mind, and I'd get lost up the fret, and I was like, yeah, that's it. But for the cello, it's a lot easier for me.
Yeah,
so
I love that. When you showed it to me, that thing is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I've known a lot of guitar players that went to bass because they couldn't play the guitar.
Yeah, they call him the failed guitarist.
So sad, man.
Yeah.
And bass is
man. Don't let him fool you, man. He's just as good on the guitar as he is on that bass.
And those are exactly the kind of people that I hate. But yeah.
Well, typically when a guitarist plays bass, guitarists always overplay the bass. And they lose that feel, that rhythm.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to overdo it,
Yeah, but with Dwayne, some of the riffs that he's writing is unbelievable, and it pushes me because I'm like, okay, I feel like I actually got this down. I could be pretty good, and I don't want to be like a lead player. Right. I have no desire for that. Like all the fast lead play. I respect it, love it. I want to have it in our music, right? It has its place in our music for sure, I think. But I just couldn't do it because in my music heart, I like that grindy groove, the one where you're like, man, this song is a banger, right?
Well, even Marty Friedman just I think last week was talking about he's kind of ready for the soloing to be kind of over with, and just people be focused more on melodies and stuff like that, and phrasing and in their guitar work.
That's awesome.
So
that's why we were wanting to do the instrumental stuff because I've never played solos. I've always been a rhythm guitar player.
Yeah, it's nice when you can feel more connected with the song, and it's not just something
but we don't get
busy.
We don't get a lot of solos anymore, man. It used to get
not as many as you used
in
to.
the 80s, man. It was all about that solo.
You go watch Rusty Cooley, you will.
Oh yeah. Yep. When I first started jamming. When I first started jamming with him. Sorry, Dwayne, I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy. I let you.
Oh, you're good, bro.
When I first started jamming with him, I was like, he was pretty hard on me. He's like, because I didn't grow up learning music theory. Right. And that was a big thing for him, especially with me. Like we had some tug of war there. He was like, "Look, dude, how can you play if you don't speak the language?" And I was like, "Well, I play from my heart. That's where." And he's like, "Well, that's great," but he was like, "What happens when you're trying to write music and you don't understand these patterns and all this different stuff?" And I was like, "Oh man, he's got me there." And sometimes when we'd be jamming, he'd be like, "It's chromatic, dude. This is the way it goes, like this, right?" Yeah. But just smoking fast.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even Don Henley, they talking, on the history of the Eagles, which I love the Eagles band, and I mean, like all the new stuff now, and I'm for them, but to me, I put them in, they're just classic, and even Don Henley failed out at UNT on music theory, which just makes me, because he's one of the best writers ever.
Yeah.
Him and Glenn Frey.
And drummer.
And
best singer.
I'm the same way. If you asked me what chords I was playing, I couldn't tell you. Oh, wow. I played everything and learned everything by ear since I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
I learned from watching my old man.
And I hate those people too.
Well, for
naturally gifted.
It was quicker. It took too long for me to figure out the theory and to learn how to read music. I could pick it up so quick by hearing it. Back in the day, it was cassette tapes.
Yeah.
Just rewind it until I could find it, rewind it till I found it.
Oh yeah.
And it was so much quicker that way than having to.
Oh, there's tons of people who play that way.
Into a class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nuno Betancourt.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, Rusty would hate to jam with me because I wouldn't know a damn thing what he was talking about.
Yeah, Nuno Betancourt's one of my favorite guitarists, and he doesn't write or read or any of that stuff. So
yeah,
he just plays badass.
Now, who's the writer for y'all? I mean, do you write lyrics too? Since you're doing it, you said you're doing it AI.
Yeah, well, not AI. We're using a VST on the lyrics on this last song, and that was just one that I wanted lyrics on, right? So I found this software called Sound Iron produces or develops the software, and it was called Voices of Rage. And then they have a complete vocal library, word library, and I mean, this software was amazing. So I had an idea of the lyrics in my head, right? So I found as close as I could get to what I wanted to say, right? And that song Paranormal, and then just laid them out through MIDI and then added those vocal chains to it.
Cool.
And so that's how it came.
That's very cool.
But Dwayne and I write everything together, even down to the drum tracks, obviously. And then Dave Banks, our bass player, we kind of poor Dave and Brian, they're not here today, but Dave and Brian, we were working with them, on everything. It's a collective.
Yeah.
Nobody's left out. That's the thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, because once somebody starts driving it, I tell Dwayne all the time, I'm like, if I'm hijacking stuff, right, I'm a pretty energetic person, right, and pretty boisterous. So I'm like, this is way I think it's like this.
Yeah.
But Dwayne will pull me back sometimes, and he'll be like, no, let's talk about this and here, and then it just
makes good to have that too. Though.
It makes the music so much better.
It is,
dude. Yeah.
It happens. It happens in podcasting too. One person will just won't shut the hell up.
Yeah, Doug interrupts.
Guilty.
Speaking of Marty Friedman, though, I do got to tell you a couple things. I don't know how much time we have left.
I think we have like 20 hours probably plus. We can record on our card.
So I remember when I was younger, I used to watch Headbangers Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Remember that show?
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. And Ricky Rackman was the host, I think, back then.
He's still around, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember, I want to say it was like 88 or 87 or somewhere around there. I remember waiting because I was a Megadeth fan my whole life. That's like my band right there. And I still, all my Metallica buddies bust my chops all the time.
No, they're both good though.
Yeah,
in their own right, they're both great.
In their own right, they're both fantastic. Megadeth just did it for me, but I remember sitting in front of an old Sony Trinitron TV that my mom had that she was so proud of.
I remember those.
I remember the Headbangers Ball coming on, and I remember the Rust in Peace album Holy Wars came on, Punishment Due, and when I saw
Marty
that,
Freeman.
Yep, that was Nick Menza, Marty Freeman, David Ellison, and Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
That was the best lineup and the best album
That was the best lineup by far.
Yeah, you're right, Dwayne. They were on fire so bad that then I was like, dude, this is unstoppable.
Right. It was very good.
I remember I was drinking a root beer float and eating cheese corn. I had cheese all over my hand.
God.
That video came on, and I just was like, I couldn't move. I was like, this is absolutely unbelievable. Marty Friedman blew me away.
Yeah, that's what made everyone want to play guitar. Those songs.
Amazing. And I knew right then. I was like, I'm going to be a rock star one day. That's what I want to be. And I failed miserably at it, but
you're still making music, so that's all that matters.
Yeah,
man.
so I'm an old metalhead now, right? Just kind of trucking along.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, cool. That's a funny story that I just remembered when you said Marty Friedman. My ears perked up because I was like, Megadeth, man.
Yeah.
I still have T-shirts.
He made Dave Mustaine that much better too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When you play with better people, it makes you better. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that band.
He was a totally different guitar player after that.
Yeah, I feel that way with bass players too. When you play with a really good bass player, they really just make you feel what they're playing. Just makes what you're doing even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's why when Burkey left and he went to Texas, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It wasn't long after he left that I ended up walking away from it because nobody else was really taking it seriously.
Yeah.
You know, we had a show at the Agora here, and by the end of the night, I mean, we had a super early load in, but we didn't play till like 11 o'clock.
Right. I hate those.
And by the time we went on, it was family and friends, and
right.
a couple of guys that were in the band were so wasted.
Yeah.
They couldn't
God.
play.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was it for me. That was the last straw. I was like,
Yeah.
that's it, I'm done.
No, you have to have that chemistry, you know, and it makes all the difference in the world.
I agree.
So,
Yeah.
Yep. And there's been many a times, to Dwayne's point, where I went on playing shows with them and, like, you know, half in the bag. I stopped all that crap now because it's like, you know, you want to have that feel good, right, to go along with your music, and it's like you're gelling with all that. And now it's more what's most important is understanding your instrument, knowing how to play it, knowing how to write good music, and enjoying the natural high from the people who are actually listening and enjoying your music, right? Instead of going out there being slammed all the time, right? And then you go back and you look at that sober and you're like, oh my God, dude, what was I
like,
thinking?
that's horrible.
That sounds terrible, man. You know?
Yeah.
Marty Friedman, man. You got to meet
And
him or
Jason
or
Becker? No. I've never met Marty Friedman.
Okay.
No, I grew up listening to Cacophony. You know, Martin Friedman, Jason Becker.
Love that.
Oh my God,
I mean, him, Tony McAlpine. You know, of course, Queensryche and all those, you know, progressive metal kind of bands. So, Watchtower. Do y'all remember Watchtower?
I don't remember Watchtower.
I don't remember them. No.
Check that out. That's some crazy shit.
I will.
Yeah.
Do you remember Quiet Riot? Dwayne and I were just talking about them.
Oh, yeah.
Today. Yeah.
Well, Quiet Riot. Yeah. Definitely. They were great musicians as well.
Big time,
Yeah,
right?
I think Rudy Sarza was with Quiet Riot.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And
The guy whose name I always forget.
Jesus Christ, I know I'm going blank.
You're not talking about Randy Rhoads.
Randy Rhoads, yes.
Well, yeah,
Randy
he
Rhoads
was,
is-
no, he was there.
he
but I'm
was
trying-
with them, yeah.
I'm talking about the guy that
Right.
replaced him. I can't remember when he went to Ozzy. I can't remember what was the guy's name. He was a guitarist.
When he went to Ozzy?
Yeah,
Who went to Ozzy?
Randy Rhoads.
Randy Rhoads?
Yeah, somebody replaced him.
Jake Ely?
No,
You mean in Quiet Riot?
No, in Quiet Riot.
Oh,
you mean?
okay. Yeah, I don't recall the guys.
I can't.
Yeah.
I just can never remember.
Draw
his name.
blank.
There is
I can picture his face, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I
his
can't
name.
Same.
there are two Houston bands, man, that I'm absolutely in love with right now, and I don't know if you know To Whom It May.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Very good.
The Beard Boys.
Very good.
Guy, when I heard
Yes.
their music, this was probably like a year ago. I was like blown away.
Yes.
I just listened to them last night again.
No, they're very, very good at what
Dude,
they do.
they are so solid.
Yeah.
The music that they write, the lyrical content, their performance, I mean, everything. And a three-piece
band, yes.
Three-piece band, it's unbelievable. I think the one track that I like is called Sync a lot. I think that was a big one for them. I don't know. And then I like Ghost, I think, is the other one that they have.
Yeah, we've seen it a few times.
Dude, they are.
Yeah, and he's playing with Wolfie on his.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what the hell is the singer and lead or the guitarist on that? What's that for that band? I can't remember his damn name right now. Shame on me.
But they're playing with Wolfie?
No, he is. He's Wolfie's guitarist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So every time you saw him out there, I think Wolfie did all his stuff. Like he tracked everything.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He did it. He recorded himself.
Yeah, I think that's what he does.
But yeah, they toured with him. He's part of his band, man.
Well, very good.
Yeah, it was very.
No, they're very
What
good
was
at
the name
they
of
do.
that band Turkey was just talking about?
To Whom It May.
Galveston, Texas
Okay.
band.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah.
Very good. And then there's another one that has, I'm surprised these guys haven't blown up bigger than they are, Kerosene Shores.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We know those guys.
Yeah, my best friend here in Texas, Tristan, Eric, I think the singer, he's his tattoo
He's
artist.
a tattoo artist.
Yeah, yeah, and has worked on his sleeve and everything.
Yep.
So
He has his own shop here in Houston.
yeah, my buddy Tristan was like, he's like, check these guys out, man. And then I listened to their first song and I was like,
Yeah, they're
man,
very
it's
good
really, really
live
good.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they always get a good crowd.
Those two bands right there,
Yeah.
that's like my chill music, man, right?
Yeah.
When I like have a beer, hang out, you
Yeah.
know, eat some crawfish. I like that, like I love their music. And then
Yeah.
what's funny is that that's like my feel good music, and then our music for Missing Skin is like completely opposite,
It's-
right?
yeah,
like
it's heavy.
different
Yeah.
ends of the spectrum. But
You want to
good.
hear somebody that's kind of, to me, their music sounds like it's a little throwback, and it's a 3-piece as well. Go listen to Honeycut Southern.
I have not heard of them yet, but
Yeah,
They're local.
They're
got-
different from To Whom It May and
Oh, yeah,
Kerosene
they're
Shores. They're
different,
more
definitely.
rock and roll.
okay.
They're still
Yeah.
more rock and roll, but they are heavier, a little heavier. But yeah,
Yeah,
they're good.
are. They're throwback on Romani.
And they're a 3-piece band
yeah.
as well. They're
I
good.
like the 3-piece, the
Yeah.
Rushes, the Triumphs of the
yeah.
world. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Triumph. I love Triumph.
Oh, yeah.
I love freaking Triumph, dude. And
Yeah, Doug always mentions Triumph. So
yeah,
definitely a Triumph fan.
I still can't get behind or understand where guitar players can sing and play the way.
Oh,
that
yeah,
they
it is
do.
hard. Yeah.
I could. People always
It's
ask
hard.
me that all the
Can't
time.
do
They're
it.
like, "You're a bass player."
I can do backups, but that's it. Yeah.
I can't even do backups.
Yeah.
Rick Emmett could play one hell of a guitar.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
and
Yeah.
still sing.
That's
Yeah.
kind of like Sting, man. Sting
Yeah.
plays some of the craziest stuff on bass and sings
What's funny is
weirdest melodies, man. It's just like, how does he do it?
Yeah. What's funny is like a lot of times when people would ask me to come audition for bass, they'd be like, "Can you do backups?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Nah, man, I don't mess with that unless
Yeah.
you want a bunch of cats around here herding around here because
Yeah.
I can't sing for nothing,
My-
man."
My 16-year-old daughter can play the guitar and sing at the same time.
Wow.
I can't.
Well, I can play like
all over myself.
if it's just like
It's all
chords
about
and
the new
stuff,
gen.
yeah. If it's just like strumming chords and singing, that's fine. But I like more technical playing, you know.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't really do that when you're doing technical playing.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
when you'll get this a little bit further down the line, you have some updates.
And Dwayne moves to Texas. We'll put on some
We'll
shows.
have you back in. You're welcome here anytime.
Awesome. Thank you. For
We have
having us.
we,
Oh, yeah.
we have rap sessions where we just bullshit and we talk about anything too with different musicians and stuff. And no, y'all are always welcome.
Thank you.
You
Appreciate
and Dwayne.
Appreciate that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just kind of seeing where it goes, right?
Yeah.
Like I mentioned at the very beginning, this was like rekindling old flames, and I had always been close to Dwayne and Brian, pretty close to them guys, right, when we started this. And it died out. Now that I get older, and I'd like to think that I'm getting wiser at 48 years old,
You do.
right?
Sure.
Yeah. And now I'm like, I don't care about all the old stuff, right? I value you as a person, and I know I like being around you,
Yeah.
and I know you're a talented musician. Let's just
Yeah.
see what happens. And who cares what I heard the singer from Lamb of God say the other day, he's like, we make music for 5 people. And some might be offended by that, but I don't care.
Yeah. It's true, though.
It's what I like.
Yeah.
Right. And so that saying stuck with me hardcore. And I was just thinking, yeah, man, if you don't dig it, fine. You know,
That's what my band
Don't
does.
listen
We
to
play
it.
what we enjoy playing, and we just do it to have fun, away from our full
Well,
time
that's
jobs.
what it is
you
now.
know?
Now it's, before it was all about wanting to make it big and
Right.
tour the world and
Yeah.
stuff. So we kind of did that already,
Yeah.
and I got to see that. Now I just want to do it for fun.
Just knock off some stress and just have a good time.
Yeah, just
Like these shows to me are more like parties for our band friends and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
It's like that's all we care
awesome.
about, just hanging out and just
Yeah.
hearing each other do their thing. You know. That's a
you
the
know, I'll
reward.
write a new riff or
Yeah.
something. And the first person I'll show it to is my wife,
Yeah.
and she'll hit me straight between the eyes. She won't, she won't pull any punches. She'd be like, "Yeah, I don't like that. It's on
Oh,
80s."
man.
I'm like, "What 80s? There's nothing
Yeah.
80s about what I'm trying to play."
I bust Dwayne's chops about
Yeah.
that one. His wife Tracy's awesome, and
Yeah.
I busted on him.
Some
about
people
that.
have a style, man. You know.
Yeah, I thought
Nothing
it
wrong
was
with that.
funny. So listen to this. I wrote a riff, and I sent it over to Dwayne and Tracy and Dwayne's daughter, bless their heart. They were like, "It sounds like James Bond or something." And I was like, "Oh no, dude!" I was like,
Yeah.
That's harsh.
These people that live in our houses can be our harshest critics. That
Yeah.
goes with food too. Yeah.
But I think musicians are their harshest critics of themselves. Right? I
we
mean,
are. That's
Yeah,
absolutely true.
we're our biggest
Yeah, I do
enemies
have
when we
I
come
do-
to like
I do-
judging our music.
I do have some self-hating
Yeah.
musician friends. I have to admit that.
It's tough because you want to be praised for what you do, right? You
Right.
want to you want people to
Yeah.
like it as much as your heart, because that's coming from your heart, right?
Yeah.
Deep spots,
Right.
in
That's
your-
personal.
Yeah, it's very
It's
personal,
personal,
right?
yeah.
And
Well, Burkey did that to me.
Oh yeah.
I sent him a riff and he goes, and he said he was joking, but I was like, for like
He was
a couple
all-
of days, I was like, man, he broke my heart. He's like,
Oh, man.
who
Bastard.
wrote that riff? C.C. DeVille?
Oh no.
Oh man.
That's below the belt, man.
I'm
Poison.
sorry, buddy.
Like,
I love you, buddy.
Every rose has a thorn, man.
Well, like I said, we will have y'all back on.
Perfect, man. Thank
and,
you.
And because as this
yeah,
project,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Man, as this project progresses, we want to hear about it and we want to be able to share the word on it.
Yep. We were trying to
Absolutely.
get the album somewhat complete by this summer, but we've had some setbacks. We're making music together, right? 1,500 miles away from each other, whatever it is. So it's
Well,
taken a long
thanks
time.
again, Christian, for your donation to Frank Aludo's benefit. That's
Yeah,
really cool
absolutely.
of you, man.
My pleasure, man.
It's
what
a really
about-
cool guitar.
Yeah, and what about Facebook page for the y'all? You have a band?
Missing Skin.
Yeah, right now we have a YouTube channel up where we're just throwing up demos to kind of see what
Yeah.
people's reactions are. It's MSKN Metal, and it's on YouTube. MSKN Metal. Yeah,
All
And you'll be
together.
it's with a space in there, but you'll be
Okay.
able to find it.
All right.
We haven't done the YouTube page yet, or I'm sorry, the Facebook page or anything
Okay.
yet. So we're just taking baby
We'll
steps.
check out the YouTube page. We'll share it, and yeah, we'll keep it going.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having us.
Hey, thanks for joining.
Thank you
us.
guys, man. I appreciate it.
This was
You
awesome.
bet. Well, this was
This
the
was awesome.
Nonsense Chronicles, and like and subscribe. We'll be back.
Later.